Hello everyone, welcome back to our channel where we talk about the future of technologies, advancements, announcements, and innovations alike. I'm pretty sure that you're going to be intrigued by our topic for today. We all know about electricity and its significance to our daily lives, right? And we also know about the difference between renewable and non-renewable resources, specifically how good renewable resources are in terms of not only giving electricity, but also how good it is for the environment. Yes, we're going to talk about renewable resources today and the very amazing advancement of windmills. The future is NAirbladeless wind technologies. Before we get right into the topic, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Let's jump right into it. Renewable or non-renewable? A question to ponder. We have all heard of renewable and non-renewable resources at least once in our lives. These are very important words because of how significant electricity is to our daily lives nowadays. We use electricity for everything we do, ranging from using it for lights to even creating complex machines for more important stuff we need for today. Knowing how important this is, many techniques are used to create energy for the consumption of everyone. There are currently 9 major ways to gather energy for electricity, and they fall into 2 categories: non-renewable and renewable. So what are these categories we're talking about? We've heard about these words at least once in our lives. Non-renewable resources are basically resources that are pretty much limited and once consumed will at least take 1,000,000 years to replenish. Non-renewable consists of 4 major types. The first 3 types, oil, gas, and coal, are all fossil fuels. Fossil fuels were formed from dead plants and animals from millions of years ago. This is the reason it is called fossil fuel, because of where it actually came from, fossils of dead organic material from a time called a Carboniferous period. This period was from around 300 to 360 million years ago, where plants and animals also used solar energy to live. The remains are then buried and trapped underground layers of rock and sediment, and with the help of pressure and heat, after millions of years, oil, coal, and natural gases. The concept is that once the remains are buried, the stored or trapped energy from the sun is released and can be used for many things. Oils, for example, are usually used for fuels and plastics. Natural gases are used for cooking and heating homes. Lastly is coal, which also has a wide array of uses. The fourth non-renewable resource is nuclear energy, where radioactive elements, mainly uranium, are extracted and then turned into fuel. Although it can produce energy efficiently and cheaply, it is limited, and once they are burned, carbon dioxide is released into the air, adding to the global warming we're experiencing as of now. The negative effects of non-renewable resources and the depletion of them can be stopped with the help of renewable resources. There are only 2 differences between the two. First, renewable resources, from their name itself, can replenish in a relatively short amount of time and will never deplete. The other one is that it produces clean energy, which means it's safe for the environment. Of course, like non-renewable, there are also types of renewable resources. There are 5 major types, the first one being hydroelectricity or hydropower. It has been used for thousands of years already. Electricity is gathered with the help of the mechanical energy of water. Turbines are placed under rivers and streams, allowing the current to power a generator, thus releasing electricity. Next is wind energy, where the wind pushes the blade of a wind turbine, allowing the turbine to rotate. The mechanical energy is then converted into electricity. Next is biomass, which refers to organic materials from plants and animals. Similar to fossil fuel, organic materials that absorb the sun's energy are burned and will release energy, but not as good as fossil fuel. There is also geothermal energy, and from the name itself, it is energy that came from deep within the Earth's core. Although it sounds good and reliable, the process to harness this energy is very difficult, since a well is drilled deep down to be pumped when it's hot, or even the steam created to a power plant. This process allows energy to be gathered and turned into electricity. Lastly, the radiation of the sun or solar energy is not quite powerful as of now, but if a large combination of solar panels is created, it can give off enough electricity for a household. Now let's head to our question, which is better: renewable resources or non-renewable resources? Well, if we're talking about the energy given off, non-renewable resources definitely has an advantage, since renewable resources rely solely on natural scenarios. Of course, speaking of amount and safety, renewable resources definitely wins here. Unfortunately, 80% of the world's energy per year is non-renewable, causing rapid depletion of said resources. This also affects the environmental state of the world, since using these fossil fuels releases carbon dioxide, adding up to the greenhouse effect that will increase global warming. If we're going to choose one, renewable resources are definitely the best choice. I mean, who wouldn't want a windmill, right? A brief history of windmills. Although renewable resources are not that new of a trend right now, it is still important to talk about it because complete depletion of a non-renewable resource is not impossible. The thing is that renewable resources are starting to get a lot better. Hydroelectricity is the most used today, being 6% of all the world's energy sources. The second one, wind energy, is only 0.22%, but all of that might change in the near future. You see, advancement is always happening, and windmills are going to change too, sooner or later, but first, let's talk about windmills. Windmills are a very old machine that helped us long ago. The first plan about creating such a machine was 3,700 years ago, where the Babylonian ruler Hammurabi wanted to convert the wind using a network of irrigation windmills and providing water to his land. It was just a plan, and historians never found any progress to it. Fast forward 1500 years, the Greek engineer Hieron of Alexandria used wind energy using a windmill that was a part of a musical instrument which was called an organ. The windmill we know as of today started to be created around the 8th to 9th century from both the Middle East and Western Asia. It was then popularized by Muslims, then it arrived in other places such as India and China. It underwent several innovations and improvements and is used up until now. At that time, both England and the Netherlands were home to most windmills. Wind pump mills were created by immigrants that settled in North America with the help of their knowledge about windmills. This became popular in 1930, and most of it is still functional and used today. Wind turbines were created back in 1887, and after the 1900s, more wind pump mills were able to create electricity. Even though non-renewable resources such as oil and gas are much used, over 45,000 wind turbines were active in 2012, and it's still increasing and improving up until today. Bladeless windmills, a brilliant creation. Brilliant minds keep on creating and innovating better and better things for different purposes. One of those brilliant minds is a company that goes by the name Vortex Bladeless Ltd. Founded in 2014, the company started when one of the co-founders, David Yanye, thought in 2012 about the idea after watching a video of the bridge of Tacoma narrow oscillating in the wind. With the combination of different ideas, Vortex Bladeless is already at 90% development, so production and commercialization of bladeless windmills are not that very far in the future. The crazy thing about this though is that it's not just a bladeless windmill, nor it is not a turbine because the whole structure of the technology is cylindrical and has the ability to vibrate. It is anchored to another rod made up of resins reinforced with carbon and/or glass fiber. The top of the rod is made out of a carbon fiber reinforced polymer and it supports the mast, and its bottom is firmly anchored to the ground. It's just basically a mast made from lightweight materials over a base. This significantly reduces the amount of material required compared to traditional windmills. Another difference is that the Vortex windmill uses a concept called vortex shedding. The concept is that when wind passes through a blunt object, the flow would generate a cylindrical pattern of vortices. This causes VIV, or vortex-induced vibrations, a design issue for steel catenary risers. Even though it is an issue, Vortex Bladeless thought to use it and even maximize the effect of this instability, which is pretty cool. The mast geometry is designed to have a maximum performance to the average wind speed, enabling it to adapt very fast to wind direction changes and turbulent airflows. Because of the structure of Vortex windmills, disturbance of this downstream wind current is not a problem even if they were installed near each other. Vortex windmills in action seem like a rod over a base just vibrating based on the air hitting it. The windmill also uses an alternator system specifically adjusted and created for the windmill. It's made from coils and magnets without using gears, shafts, or any rotating parts. This means that maintenance is also not that much needed since friction is not included in the equation, another feature that is better than the traditional windmill. Overall, it's not just smaller and more space efficient compared to traditional ones, but it also does not have any problems that windmills currently experience, such as the need to support very different loads, putting the materials under high mechanical demands. The mechanical demands then cause wear for the materials, leading to high maintenance. With all of this in mind, production is going to begin in the near future, being the new technology that would change wind turbines forever. Do you think bladeless wind turbines will come sooner? Will it be widely used like non-renewable resources, or do you think it will not be used by major electric companies? Comment your comments on this topic down below in the comment section. Don't forget to leave a like if you enjoyed this video and hit that subscribe and notification bell button to stay tuned about technologies and future innovations. See you!